Within every living cell lies a structure that encodes the history of the cosmos in microscopic form, a delicate double helix turning endlessly upon itself. DNA's spiral is a monument to motion, the biological echo of a universe built on turning patterns. From the spin of galaxies to the rotation of atoms, the same principle of asymmetry and balance persists across scales, binding life to the vastness that preceded it. Existence, from the first molecule to the stars above, is a continuous unraveling of the same spiral. Life did not begin in isolation from the cosmos. 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth was young and molten, its surface hammered by impacts, its atmosphere dense with vapor and gases. Yet even then, the planet rotated. That daily spin governed the alternation of light and shadow, drove winds across volcanic plains, and stirred oceans developing under cooling skies. These cycles, light and dark, wet and dry, calm and storm, were the first environmental rhythms imposed on chemistry. Matter repeated its reactions in time with the planet's rotation, and through repetition, complexity grew. In that repetition lay opportunity. Wherever molecules endured thousands, then millions of cycles, patterns emerged. Amino acids combined, linking into chains. Lipids formed membranes that enclosed reactions. The earliest polymers bent and wound into shapes that could stabilize or reproduce themselves. All of these motions, bonding, folding, coiling, were in essence rotations guided by geometry. Even before biology existed, chemistry had learned to turn. Scientists call the transition from inert matter to metabolism abiogenesis, but its mechanisms are still uncertain. We know that within organic chemistry, certain molecules exhibit chirality, handedness, a form of structural asymmetry. When synthesized in the laboratory, each chiral molecule appears as a pair, left-handed and right-handed, mirror images identical in composition but opposite in orientation. In living systems, however, the choice is unanimous. Amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, are left-handed. Sugars, the backbone of DNA and RNA, are right-handed. The entire biosphere is built on this single bias, a molecular preference so strict that an inversion can render a compound useless or toxic. Why life chose one direction over the other remains among the most profound unsolved questions. Some researchers believe the answer lies beyond Earth, in the rotational physics of the cosmos itself. Light, after all, carries angular momentum. Photons possess spin and can be polarized in left or right-handed ways. When circularly polarized ultraviolet light passes through clouds of organic molecules, it destroys one chirality more efficiently than the other. Observations of star-forming regions, such as those within the Orion Nebula, have revealed locally polarized light shaped by magnetic fields and dust rotation. If such light irradiated the early solar nebula, it could have produced a slight excess of one chiral form, an astronomical nudge that chemistry amplified into biological law. Meteorites that predate life on Earth strengthen this view. In 1969, the Murchison meteorite landed in Australia, carrying a wealth of organic molecules formed more than 4.5 billion years ago. Analytical studies revealed an imbalance, a small but measurable preference for left-handed amino acids identical to those used by terrestrial life. The symmetry was already broken before life began. In later discoveries, comets and interstellar dust also showed traces of chiral excesses. The pattern suggests that homochirality, the uniform handedness of life, is not the product of random chance on one planet, but the legacy of universal rotation imprinted during the galaxy's birth. Rotation also guided conditions on Earth once life emerged. The planet's spin established the cycle of days and nights, giving rise to periodic exposure to light. Primitive organisms adapted molecular clocks, networks of proteins whose production and degradation followed the planet's turning rhythm. These ancient circadian systems persist today in virtually all species, governing sleep, metabolism, and photosynthesis. In cyanobacteria, among the earliest photosynthetic forms, key proteins oscillate precisely with the 24-hour day. Each sunrise activates new chains of biochemical rotation. Without the planet's spin, no such periodic order would exist. Even deeper than circadian cycles, rotation manifests in the architecture of cells. The machinery that replicates DNA, enzyme complexes called helicases, literally unwind the helix by rotational motion. ATP synthase, an enzyme essential for life, generates energy by spinning. Embedded within cell membranes, it converts the potential energy of electrochemical gradients into mechanical rotation, turning like a microscopic turbine to forge the molecule ATP, the fuel of biology. In every living cell, countless molecular rotors spin continuously, translating linear chemistry into circular motion, repeating in miniature the kinematics of stars. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy the content we shared today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This convergence between cosmic and cellular mechanics is not coincidence, but conservation. The universe preserves angular momentum across scales. In the spiral shapes of hurricanes, galaxies, seashells, and DNA, mathematics finds a common ratio, the logarithmic spiral, describing how systems expand while maintaining rotation. Each curve declines in angle, but not in harmony, ensuring form persists through growth. Nature's preference for the spiral arises from efficiency. It reconciles expansion with continuity, divergence with balance. Life evolves through this geometry because geometry is the grammar of stability. The connection between spin and life also appears in magnetism. Many organisms, from migratory birds to bacteria, orient themselves by Earth's magnetic field. The microscopic crystals of magnetite within their tissues align like compass needles, providing directional sense. These crystals form through biomineralization processes that mimic geophysical magnetism on a molecular scale. Just as the planet's core rotates to sustain its magnetic shield, life's internal order aligns with those field lines, a union of planetary motion and biological behavior that has persisted across evolutionary time. Beyond the cellular and planetary, evidence of biospheric rotation extends into planetary climate itself. Earth's turning generates the Coriolis effect, which curves winds and ocean currents into vast gyres. These rotating systems mix nutrients, distribute heat, and drive weather patterns vital to sustaining ecosystems. Coral reefs flourish where such currents circulate. Rainforests depend on wind-borne moisture carried along rotational paths. Even ecosystems unconnected by geography share dependence on this planetary spin. Life as a global phenomenon is, quite literally, a choreography led by rotation. In the laboratory, researchers reproduce the role of movement in prebiotic chemistry. Experiments simulating early Earth's conditions reveal that cyclic processes, drying and wetting on mineral surfaces, continuous stirring in convective columns, foster polymerization where still conditions do not. Motion provides both energy and organization. The same principle applies to evolution itself. Populations adapt through cycles, generation after generation turning through selective pressures, never static, always rotating through variation and inheritance. The spiral of life is not poetic metaphor, it is accurate topology. Philosophically, these parallels suggest that life did not originate against the fabric of the universe, but with it. The same forces that cause galaxies to spiral regulated the probability landscape from which life emerged. Once motion existed, closure followed. Rotating systems enclose, isolate, and protect, whether planetary atmospheres or cellular membranes. Rotation stabilizes complexity by distributing energy evenly, preventing collapse. The self-organization we call life is an advanced expression of the same self-organization present in a whirlpool or a galaxy's arm, a feedback between gravity, motion, and symmetry breaking that allows persistence amid flux. In contemporary astrophysics, this continuity inspires new research into planetary habitability. Observations from the James Webb Space Telescope have shown that many exoplanets exhibit atmospheres in dynamic equilibrium, temperature gradients moderated by rotation. Planets that are tidally locked to their stars, showing only one face to light, present extreme contrasts, whereas rotating worlds distribute energy more evenly, sustaining potential climates for life. Motion, once again, is the mediator between chaos and habitability. At the microscopic edge of physics, quantum spin reaffirms the connection. Each electron carries an intrinsic angular momentum that gives rise to magnetic fields and chemical bonds. The chirality of molecules and the magnetism of atoms arise from these quantum spins. Without them, matter would remain inert. The spin that drives cosmic halos also underlies the operation of every neuron in the human brain, where electron movement and magnetic resonance generate thought itself. Cognition is therefore a dialogue of angular momentum, microscopic rotations arranged into awareness. In medicine and technology, our growing understanding of spin yields new tools that mirror natural processes. Magnetic resonance imaging maps the orientation of atomic spins within the body, constructing pictures of living tissue without harm. Spin-based electronics, or spintronics, exploit the electron's rotation to process information far more efficiently than ordinary charge-based devices. Even here, at the frontier of human invention, progress occurs by aligning with rotation rather than resisting it. Looking deeper, the spiral entwines not only physics and biology, but meaning. Life's trajectory mirrors the universal curve, outward and upward, winding but never closing. Evolution traces a spiral, revisiting old configurations at higher levels of complexity, single cells to colonies, organisms to societies, consciousness expanding like galactic arms. At every turn, memory of prior structures persists, transformed yet recognizable. The DNA helix, replicating through billions of years, is a living fossil of cosmic geometry, a coil forged from starlight and spin. To consider this kinship is to confront continuity on an existential scale. Each breath of air, each heartbeat, each planet's orbit participates in one fluent movement extending from the first turbulence of creation. We are, at every level, assemblies of rotation. The swirl of electrons builds atoms. Atoms form molecules. Molecules fold into cells. Cells circulate blood and thought. Life carries within it the same pattern that shaped the universe. Disorder disturbed into rhythm, symmetry folded into spiral. As the Earth turns, that heritage remains visible. In cloud patterns captured from orbit, in hurricanes twinning across equatorial seas, and in the whirl of cosmic dust birthplaces of new suns, the signature repeats. When sunlight strikes a leaf, energy cascades through spinning electrons, through molecules turning inside cells that trace their lineage to interstellar dust. Life is not an anomaly in the universe's motion. It is the universe becoming self-aware of its rotation. In the spiral, order and imperfection coexist. Each curve expands outward, never returning to the exact same point, embodying time's advance and nature's persistence. The spiral is how the universe remembers its beginning while never ceasing to create. To live, then, is to move within that curve, to inherit the physics of turning and translate it into consciousness. The atoms within the human body once circled the heart of an ancient star. Now they orbit as neurons within a mind capable of understanding that motion. Across those scales, nothing essential has changed. Rotation remains the constant, the quiet architect of both galaxies and thought. When one finally understands this continuity, stillness itself gains new meaning. It is not the absence of motion, but the moment when countless spins synchronize into balance. The calm at the center of the cyclone, the space between heartbeats, the reflection before another revolution. Life's stability depends on such equilibria, moments of rest within perpetual turning. The universe allows pause only within motion, never beyond it. Thus, the spiral continues. From the earliest turbulence to the structure of DNA, from the curvature of galaxies to the awareness contemplating them, motion holds its shape. Everything living is a portion of that shape, temporary, luminous, and rotating. The cosmos began to spin, and life became its memory.